How could anybody do the things you did so easily? And I swear I don't care. I guess you. I forgot the lyrics. But hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so I wanted to make a vlog. Uh, don't mind me touching my hair so much. I wanted to make a vlog of my trip to Coorg, but then I realized I'm not an influencer and clearly failing at it, so I don't have any substantial uh, footage to put it as a vlog. And then I figured, hey, I'm good at storytelling, and this will be like a video call with a friend where I'm like telling you what I did, what happened, but I'll give you a visual. How does that sound? If you're interested, keep on watching. If you're still not interested, give it a shot. I will keep you entertained. At least that's what I believe. Like, I really think people like to hear me talk. I'm good with stories. Okay, let's change the angle. So, I'm really excited about my birthdays. Like, okay, before we get started, I want to tell you that I never tell a story straight. It's always story one, story two, subplot 10, uh, little whatever in between. So, yeah, I was going to be 24 and a half on October of 30th. So, I asked for half a day leave from my office. And they're like, hey, take a full day leave. I was like, okay, cool. This was a Wednesday, right? Monday, I had a holiday. It was a New Zealand holiday. I work for a New Zealand based bank. So Monday and Wednesday was holiday. Now, why would I work on a Tuesday? So I'm like, hey, you know what? Give me that as well. I'll be off your hair and I just and then I come home and I tell my mom, like, hey, I'm on leave for like 5 days, including Saturday and Sunday. And she's like, maybe you should go out. Like, you should, uh, go somewhere with your brother. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Let me do. First, I thought I'll go to Pondicherry, but then I was like, hey, maybe I should go to Coorg. Then I looked up some videos. Me and my brother were like quarreling about what to do. So I want to plan everything meticulously, whereas my brother wants to just go with the flow. So we were quarreling Friday. We were still quarreling Saturday. And then I was like, hey, you know what? I'm not coming with you. Like, I can't deal with your attitude. This is not happening. And then I go to sleep Saturday night. And then Sunday I wake up with the dread that, hey, what am I going to do for 3 days? I'm already bored. Then I set my ego aside and I'm like, you know what? Let's just go. So I book a bus and I go to Coorg. We reach around 5:30 in the morning. Yeah. And then we had to wait for all the shops to open because none of it was open. And we needed a bike to get from the bus stop to the place we're staying. It was Ghost Stops. It's a lodge. What? No, it's not a lodge. It's a oh shoot. It's a hostel. Lost my train of thought. It's a hostel where they have bunk beds and you can share it with people, right? So and then we rent this bike from the from the bus stop, and then we go to this place. We reach there around 7ish, 6:37ish. And the crazy thing happens because apparently, even after all that meticulous planning, I somehow booked wrongly. So instead of booking Monday check-in, I have done Sunday check-in. So when I reached there at 7 o'clock, he's telling me, ma'am, you need to check out in 3 hours. Like 10 o'clock, you should be checking out. And then I lose it because I'm like, how could I do this mistake? Like, I checked a million times and I somehow still did the wrong booking. Anyways, I cry a little. I was very overwhelmed. I cry a little, but then I was like, you know what? I can't let this get to me. So I quickly get dressed and then we leave for our first day of the trip. For first stop, we have this Dubari elephant camp. There was not much to see except elephants, but also funny thing. So they had this thing where you can bathe the elephants. I was like, sure, how much could that be? Like, I mean, I'm going to bathe the elephant, you better be paying me. But then they're like, you have to pay 500 rupees. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, yeah, no, thank you. So I have not seen an elephant up close until that day. I've been reading this. No, I've been listening to an audiobook. It's called The Covenant of Waters. I think that's not the complete title, but in that, there's an elephant in the story. And in this one particular scene, the elephant is come to visit the kids, and yeah, the kids are like, oh, the kids are all having fun because the elephant is kind of spraying water on the kids, and and then there's this one little kid. He's like, why is that elephant has another trunk between his legs? And at the time, I did not get that joke. I was like, what is that? What do they mean? Like, and then I saw the elephants and I realized what they were talking about. Anyways, we were there for an hour. So from the entrance to the camp, there's a little boat ride. Yeah, we were there. We saw a lot of similar elephants, and then we went to eat breakfast. I ate dosa, really uncooked, just not good. Anyways, after that, we had to wait 20 minutes to go river rafting because they needed 4 people in a raft. So, me and my brother had to wait for somebody else to come. Then, a couple or friends they joined us, and that girl reminded me of somebody, and I was getting so annoyed at her. Like, I was like, stop it, just stop it. Like, yeah. Actually, she was reminding me of the person that I was trying to get away from. Like, the whole point of the trip was to not remember this person. And then I'm looking at this girl and I'm like, oh my god, she's. Anyways, we did that rafting for almost an hour. And then we had to wait another hour because this guy tells us that, hey, you should not take your phone because there's a possibility that your phone could drop and it's like 30 feet deep water. But we have like a GoPro that you can rent. It's like 500 rupees, and you could all share. And we were like, yeah, sure, like whatever. So we had to wait an hour to get those pictures and videos. I was tired. I was already 12:01. Anyway, after that, we went to a reservoir, Chikli Holi reservoir. So, funny thing happened. I was trying to make a YouTube short, like really determined to become a YouTube star. So, there was this narrow steps near the reservoir, and I was trying to. I don't know what I was trying to do. I was jumping down the stairs, and then one of my earring falls down, like into the water. Like it just goes down. And there's no way of retrieving it. It's my favorite earring. That's my favorite earring. It's a staple that I use every day, and I just lost that. That was a little sad. But life is to move on. Then we had some tender coconut, and on to our next place, which was Nisargadama. Okay, we went there. Not much again. Pretty much everything was sightseeing. Like you're just going from one place to another, um, and then sightseeing. It was like a big park, similar to Cubbon Park, if I can say that. So there was this boat ride, like getting into the water. All of that was closed, so not much. There was a little small zip lining, but I couldn't do that because I was wearing a frock, and there was no way I was putting that harness and flashing to everybody. Oh, where's my age? So I didn't do that, and then not much to do there again. And then we left from there. We went to the Golden Temple. Yeah, really beautiful place. But again, not much to do. We sat there for a while, and I was looking at the very intricate detail of the architecture. Very, very beautiful. Like, really beautiful. The next place that we went to was the Harangi Dam. Uh, the dam had like a little water dance at 7 o'clock, and the guy there said that in the meantime we should go to like this place just 300 meters away, and you have to like trek like this pathway where you go, and then there's a really beautiful water body, and you can watch the sunset. Really beautiful, amazing view. We were there for a while, and then we came back. We went to the dam, watched the waterfalls. um, at the same time, there was a group, not a group actually, a lot of college kids. I think they were from Kerala, and yeah, mostly girls, and they were looking so beautiful, and boys, they were boys. After that, we left for home. Now, something that I should tell you about me is that I absolutely do not like bike rides. Like, that's the last thing that I like. So, the whole day was just me on a long bike ride to tourist spots, right? Uh, and me and my brother don't get along so well. Our love language is to talk in really loud tones with each other. So the whole day I'm like, you put the map, I'll put the map, I'll take the picture, my phone is draining, I don't have battery, where do we charge our phones? And we have not eaten. Like, I ate that half cooked dosa which I did not even complete. Um, and then we had the coconut, but apart from that, we were like starving. Uh, Another thing is, I don't like being out late at night. Like, something about the dark is a little unsettling for me. So, imagine it's a nature picturesque ride, but I'm not enjoying myself because that's not what I enjoy. And the roads are really steep, narrow, and they what's the word I'm looking for? They're like go around, they're like zigzag. I was scared. I was scared for my life because as far as your eye can see, it's just pure greenery, like a lot of forest, mountains, water body. Like one wrong step and I'd be down in the forest and nobody could do anything. And our return back journey was creepy because there were no street lights. It's just I was praying and hoping that I reach home safe. So when we enter the city, There was some kind of carnival. I could see that a Ferris wheel. Is that Ferris wheel? The wheel that goes. Yeah. My brother's like, hey, we should go check that out. We went there. I got into the wheel. I was shit scared for my life because there was no harness, nothing. You just like holding on to the rails for my dear life, and I was like, let's just go home. After which we went to eat dinner. Now, if you're in Coorg, you should eat meat, but I said two places to my brother because that was the only thing I could see, and he was like, "Hey, we should go to this," and we go there, and it's a pure vegetarian restaurant. We order something with paneer, some type of roti. I couldn't even eat. He couldn't eat. We were just, and then we just went back home. That's and then I had to rebook the hostel, and then in this hostel there was some fire camp kind of thing happening. I wanted to sit and enjoy with them, but then I was so sleepy I just went, and that night I was the only single person in the room, so that was good. On to day two. I'm just going to wash my face and put a face mask while I tell you about day two. But before that, I wanted to show you this. Like, okay, I don't think you can see fully, but this is a beautiful anarkali that I've had for 10 years. Can you believe me? Like, I'm gonna try to get a better view of this, but I've had this for 10 years and it still fits me like a glove. Now, on to day two. I wake up around 8, get dressed, wear this really beautiful skirt. Oh, wait, before I say that, I have to mention that when we rented the bike, we rented it for 3 days because that was the plan that we were going to stay for 3 days. One day's rent was 650, and then he took 1,000 rupees deposit. You'll know why I'm mentioning this now. Anyways, so we take the bike. Our first place for the day was Mandalpatti Peak. So it's like this, mountainous beauty. It's really beautiful. But then when we go there, you can't take your bike or a car up there. You have to take a jeep or one of those bikes that are meant to go on rocky pathways. And one jeep was 1,600. There was no way we were going to pay that much for just the two of us. So we waited for another half an hour, and then we were joined by three North Indian guys. We went with them to the peak, and then we were just again, that also was like a trail that you walk up to the peak. Um, the jeep ride was really funny. I was like bobbing up and down because of how the roads were. But yeah, we go to the peak. We spend around 50 minutes there, clicking pictures, looking at the view. Really, really beautiful. And then okay, so at this point there is no what is that, there is no network on either of our phones. Okay, and we're like, oh, what should we do? We have to go to our next waterfall place, which was Abbey Falls, but we don't know how to get there. So our jeep, the person who drove the jeep, he told us there's another waterfall nearby that will allow you to like play in the water, right? And he asks us to go. He's like, just go down this road, and at this point we're kind of clueless. We're like, okay, whatever, we go. And that's when tragedy strikes. So like I said, these roads are really steep and narrow and you know rocky also. uh, my brother loses control and then we fall. Yeah, thankfully, nothing major happened. Like, imagine there's nobody, okay? There's not a single soul on these roads. No network, no connection with the phone, okay? I have zero life skills. Like, I don't know how to ride a bike. And we're surrounded by mountains. Like, this is the road, and this side, there's that steep trees. If I would have fallen, well and good. If something would have happened to my brother, now that would have been sad because I probably would have just died there too. But thankfully, nothing happened. I scraped this arm. Now it has healed, but it was a pain and a misery, like it was burning. Then a little bit here, one cut on my palm and my knees and my calf. But thankfully nothing happened. So and then we're like, my brother's like hurt both his palms, and now he's like struggling to drive. But we somehow got to the waterfalls that he mentioned. I forgot what it's called. And then we go sit there, wash our wound, and then we're there for some time. Again, here also we're like, oh, click pictures and all that. We do that, and then what does this look uneven? Okay, I have to make do with this. Um, so from there we try to get to the city, which is to Abbey Falls. Now at this point, I have given up hope because A, I don't like bike rides. B, have just fallen down. C, I'm in a remote place where if God forbid something happened, you know, uh, there'd be nothing I could do. So I'm like, hey, let's just go back to the hostel and let's take the bus home tonight. I really can't. But my brother's like, hey, we've come so far, let's just go. Somehow with no network, thankfully, since it was like straight roads, we make it to the city and then somehow get connection. We go to Abbey Falls. Now I'm like shit scared. Like I'm like really, really scared of how the roads are, and I'm like, what if something happens? I'm paranoid at this point. Then we go to Abbey Falls, we take some pictures, so much walking, so much like that was an ideal place, like just the kind of place I wanted to be, like around nature, amidst all that greenery. But for some reason, I was just done with it. And then we take some pictures. Uh, did we? Oh, and we have not eaten. Okay, it's 2 o'clock. And we're still not eaten. After that, we come to the city. We tried to find lunch. By the time it was like 3:30, I took my comfort meal, which was curd rice. Like I ordered curd rice, and then I ordered some prawns, something, and I ate it, and I felt content. And honestly, I just wanted to go home. After that, we went to the fort, um, and the palace was closed. Just the museum that we could see. Again, not much to see, just wandered around. There was this guy that was offering to take us to a coffee plantation, but at this point I had given up. Like I'm like, just take me home. um uh After that, we go to Raja Seat, where it's a park, but you get to see this beautiful sunset. So we're there chilling for another 2-3 hours. By the time it's like good 8 o'clock, then we go back to the hostel. Okay, we take our bags and we're waiting for like around 9 o'clock to happen, so that and I had booked the bus. I'd booked the bus home because I was not going to stay a minute longer. uh and honestly, I couldn't care about the third day rent that we had paid for the bike, because 650 in the gutter. I just wanted to be home. um so now fun thing, now we had to go return the bike, and that guy was closing at 8 o'clock, but we go there at 9 o'clock. Now, okay, there was a little scratch on the side, like the paint had come off, but it was a very minor scratch. Now we're thinking he already has 1,000 rupees of our deposit. He has 650 extra that we paid, which we knew he was not going to refund. But either ways, we were like, you know what, it's okay. I think that should cover the cost for the little scratch that is there. We go there, and now let me paint you a picture. Okay, the lane is empty. There's hardly 2 to 3 shops, and all of them are closed. And this guy is like almost closed, like there's just one light bulb. So the entire lane is dark, right? And then there are 10 guys, okay? Maybe not 10 exactly, but there's a large group of boys at the store. And now my brother's like, hey, we kind of fell down, and um, and he's like, hey, you have to pay for the damages. We're like, okay, we'll pay you. Big deal. And then he gives us a bill of 3,500. He's like, I have to um, replace the whole body. So now you have to pay. And I'm like, I didn't want to be a part of this conversation because I was just standing in the side. And then my brother was going on and off like, hey, like there was already a few scratches on the bike, so you can't expect us to pay for the full, repair of the body. And yeah, I just kept going on and on. And my brother, at one point, I was just pissed. I was like, hey, just get done with it, because I was scared for my safety. I'll be honest. I was scared for my safety because I was the only woman on that road. There were 10 boys. Not that, they had bad intentions, but you could never be too safe. Things could escalate real quick, so you can't predict. And one guy was being very rash. He was a little annoyed. He was like, hey, no, you have to pay us the money. And I was not going to take my chances of letting my brother figure it out, because I was also there and I could be harmed. So I was like, just pay the money and we'll leave. We pay the money, then we eat dinner, and then we take the bus back home. I was watching Desperate Housewives, and I was having such a pain, like sleeping in the bus, because my hand was touching everywhere, my leg was touching everywhere, and the wound was open and it was burning, like it was really burning the shit out of me. We made it back home, and the first thing I did was sob to my mother. That's one thing, like I can be really strong until I need to be, and once I'm in the comfort of somebody I love, I just break down. I cried, and that's about it. I got some souvenirs. I got this one I love Coorg fridge magnet, but the most exciting thing of it all is this. I don't know what you call this. I got this wind chime. Yeah, it's got this wind chime. Really, it's this sense of calmness. Like, look at that. It's beautiful. That was the trip summarized. Not really a summary. 30 minutes long. You wouldn't call that a summary, but yeah. Did I like this trip? During the trip, I was not so much, but in hindsight, I realized that yeah, it was needed for me to be on that break. And yeah, it was nice. Like I look back at it and I'm like, hey, I'm so glad I did that. Like it was different from the mundane routines that we have. um could it have been better? Sure. uh but yeah, I love yapping. And if you like this, you should subscribe, because then we can be besties and I can yap to you all the time. How does that sound? So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, chat with me. Um, yeah, until I see you next time. Should I do an outro after washing the face mask? Hair mask? Maybe not. Bye bye.